Night for you're following this, right? Like first I went to the בכחו, and then I went to the Kura, and then I went to Haspedim and Chazanish. I was never in Chazanish before. It was actually the Makam of the Chazanish, you know. So you walk in and it's a throwback to sitting there. There's a couple hundred people sitting, and they asked me to speak. And I said, because Bakiris Makobo wasn't for me to speak, and Hazadisha wasn't comfortable. But when I walked in, I realized how right I was. But it was the Blatos are from 1950, and the Gemaras, none of this Oz V'Hadar was this like big old Gemaras on old shelves, and I'm sitting between these two older gentlemen, I felt like I was in a room full of tzaddikim, actually. But, very unassuming tzaddikim.
Kind of like this.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, older ones. These two long men with long white beards, and when I didn't want to speak, so I fixed up to my Mechut, Rabbi Wolkin should speak. He knew from Tells. So when he got up to speak, so this guy asked the guy over here, he said, who is that? Miza. So he said, he's the mashkiach of a terrace in Yerushalayim Beit Vegan. So this guy says, I didn't ask you what he does, I asked you who he is. So he says, he's Reb Chaim Wolkin. So this guy says, I didn't ask you his name, I asked you who he is. Like what? Like I feel like what would it have felt like to be in Navardik? But here I'm waiting for the what's the real deep uptight to this guy? So I popped it. He said they were friends from Tells. Okay, that's it. Friends from Tells. All right. Okay, we're on page 22. B'chol derachav in the Hakdama. B'chol derachav. In all of the ways, again, he's explaining, he's teaching his father. He's teaching the life of his father. And he says, B'chol derachav, and this is a big chiddush, I believe. He would be mamayit his kavod for kvod shamayim. Now, why do I say that's a big chiddush? Well, first of all, because most people don't do that. But we're going to learn that it's not so pashut that this should be the anhaga. But let's go a little bit further. The idea is there's sometimes there's an Indian of getting less kavod because that gives more kavod to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I think I mentioned here once I was fundraising. I don't like fundraising, especially like the door-to-door kind. Nobody likes. People are really very, very. All of a sudden they become very. Disrespectful to you, but so I guess that's why I didn't like it. But it was fundraising, and I once said to my Rabbi Yaacov Haber, he said to me like, "How's the fundraising going?" So I said, "I really don't like it." So the person said, "Well, nobody likes it. I mean, only one person who likes it. I'm a shugana. Who's going to like it? Nobody's going to like it." So I said, okay, so what's the eitzah? He says, the eitzah is pashut. He says, you have to be able to put your avas Hashem before your avas Hashem. That's the eitzah. By him it was milsa zutrasi, it was pashut, but that's not so pashut. But like the idea is, the avoda here is, what was good about that is, not that I was able to do that necessarily, but then it all of a sudden became an avodas Hashem. Like, in other words, whatever, the Panovich Rav said every time he knocked on a door, he would say a little tefillah that they shouldn't be home. That was but there's a certain avodas Hashem here. It's like an ironic tefillah, but there's a certain avodas Hashem of an opportunity to put your kavod, to make this decision. Do I have avas atzmi, or Avos Hashem, and which one, even if I have both, which one is more? So at the end, this can bring a person, if it would be necessary, to even die al Kiddush Hashem. It's just a matter of degree. The question is, I'm too young to die. I'm not recommending this. I'm just saying that, like, you can, if you want to understand the spiritual practice of dying al Kiddush Hashem, the pshat is that you're able at that moment to put Avos Hashem above Avos Atzmo. No, I mean, it's quite simple. And the same thing with, simple to say, the same thing is, which by the way, Jews would put to the test, even in unexpected situations. Unexpected Jews did rise to that call, but the call is a very simple one. Not I'm dying al Kiddush Hashem, but am I willing to put quote Hashem or Avos Hashem higher than Avos Atzmi? But the thing is, you don't have to die for this. This comes up like almost every day. I mean, I would imagine, where the real question is, the real question is kvod Hashem, kvod atzmo. Like, how do you do this? So
is kvod Hashem same as Avos Hashem?
I don't know. No, it's not the same. But why do I keep on saying them together? Because it's the same ability to be mabayit yourself. That's it's coming from the same techuna, which it is a little bit of a dangerous thing, because it's very important that we, as we've been saying, I'm not comfortable with the word self-esteem, even though it's so crept into the Jewish world. As Dr. Twersky said, that he had one chap and he wrote 54 books on it. I mean, kol hakavod, helped thousands of people. I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying that I don't know, like, if self-esteem, what does that mean? Like, is that like a big mila per se, or is it a person should have self-confidence, or a sense of self? Understand what your tachlis in the world is. But whatever my tachlis in the world is, there's kvoidi and kvod Hashem. There's Avos Atzmi and Avos Hashem. So here we say every day, so we should think about this. Ve'ahavta Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha b'chol v'yadecha. With whatever you got at the end that has to go towards Avos Hashem wherever necessary. If it means money, if it means kavod, if it means kvod Hashem. Sometimes it's a very important thing to think about what's best for the situation and not what's best for my kavod. Like, that's not the criteria necessarily. What's best for the situation? There's a situational thing. So hayimamayit. So his derech was hayimamayit kvod atzmai laharbois kvod shemayim. Hein b'mila de tzibura. Whether he was talking about tzibur, ufrat b'inyanei haklal, especially the unit of klal. Pshat, Rabbi said, what's the difference between tzibur and klal? Does that sound redundant? Hey, whether it was b'mila de tzibura, b'frat b'inyanei haklal. Same thing, no? Tzibur klal.
Tzibur is my community.
Which is closer?
My
you say one is here and one's out there?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Klal Yisrael and so then the order is wrong. Hein b'mila de tzibur b'frat b'inyanei haklal. Should be the other way around. Hein b'inyanei haklal u'b'frat b'inyanei hatzibur. You can't make the prat bigger than the klal, right? I think it might. What, you disagree?
No,
I'm
puzzled also.
Thank you. I think what it means is that there's two, like if you're an osek b'tzorchei tzibur, there's two parts to it. One is if you're a man like Reb Chaim Volozhin, so you have a constant line outside your door of people with problems. I have parnasa problems, I have children problems, I have shalom bayis problems, I have health problems, whatever. That's a yanei tzibur. That's tzorchei tzibur. In Yanei Klal is the Klal needs a new building, the Klal needs a mikvah, the Klal needs a gemach. That's in Yanei Klal. I think it's simple pshat. So tzibur is a number of individuals that come together to form a tzibur. Klal is that there's Klal stuff. I'm a Klal mensch. A Klal mensch is that I'm working on a level of societal improvements. So like there's Klal Yisrael and there's Reb Yisrael. Klal Yisrael is made up of a lot of Reb Yisrael. So, Hein b'mila de tzibura, b'frat b'nyonei haklal, it makes sense that it could be a klal and a prat, because the tzibur is all the individuals out there, and then there's like this thing that's even bigger than that, like this prat of what they all need. It's
written in parts.
This is the sum, the klal, sum.
And in both of those, he put those things before himself.
Both of them. Hein b'mila de tzibur. So whenever it came to the tzibur, now this is a tough thing, because just it's tough practically to put your own needs aside for the needs of the tzibur. Even though we all know intuitively that seems to be the right thing, the Jewish thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do. Budas, it's well known, shehishlich nafshay mineged, that he would put nafshay, by the way, means his health, his nefesh. It's not talking about his neshama. He'd actually put his health on the side, to work much more than he had kochos for. And even when he was very old, of course it's referring to the case of Moshe Rabbeinu, who realized that by him giving whatever physically and kabbalistically he was doing by holding his hands up during the war with Amalek, he was giving chizuk to everybody, but he didn't have koach. Ad kedei kach, they had to come and they had to hold his hands up. But he said, I can't put my hands down, because when I put my hands down, so vayikbar Amalek. I need to keep on giving this chizuk, whatever it takes. You can just say, look at this, can somebody else take over here? How long can you keep your hands up? But there was deep things going. The Zohar has his two hands were chesed and gvura coming from Shemayim. He was actually creating pipelines to the arts. But however you want to understand it, even when he didn't have any koach, he went further. So I don't have any koach, but there's a tzibur. Ad ba hashevesh, until the sun goes down. V'af ki chlois koach rachman al, even when Reb Chaim Volozhin had no koach, gam al mishkavai b'chalya, he was on his deathbed. Rayoynai slika, his mind was always working. Ve'einav hayanasuyis hashamayma, and his eyes were facing the shamayim. L'shatev shem shamayim b'tzara da'aklal v'aprat. Unbelievable thing. He couldn't do anything anymore. He was on his deathbed. What was he going to do? And he had a very difficult yisur before he died. It was a well-known thing that he was in a lot of pain. But the whole thing, he was l'shatev shem shamayim b'tzara da'aklal v'aprat. So what does it mean? That with his moaning, with his broken body, in other words, he took his tsar and he used it to feel the tsar of Klal Yisrael. See, I once saw a quote, I just looked it up this morning, forgive me for reading it on by. Chaim Oizer was the Vilna Rav. He was the Gadol Hador. Chaim Oizer was the Gadol Hador. And this is exact words of his from Achiezer. Lifnim bimei alumi, when I was young, hayisi savar sha'ikar etzel adam kamaydi, that the main thing for me is laharbois b'chidushay Torah l'chaber svar. I think the main thing I could do, main contribution I could make, is to. It was a goad. It was a goad on. Reb Chaim Oizer used to write two tshuvas, to be complicated tshuvas with two different hands at the same time. Reb Chaim Oizer. That's how what a genius he was. Like two letters to two different people, different Torah. You didn't have time to write it one at a time. So I thought she'ikar eitzel adam kabaydi laharbis b'chidushay Torah l'chaber svar. Ve'ilu achshav. But now, he was older when he said this, Nira be'enai, it seems to me that chibur svarim kibesachik b'shashuyim, that's just self-entertainment. Lumas hatzarech litmach ba'almanos yiseg aniyim talmidei chachamim. It's just playing around compared to what it means, the importance of taking care of an almana, of an orphan, of a poor person, of a Talmud Chacham in distress. Yeah, I mean, you would think that the taka for him, leave that for the machers, leave it for the community organizers, let Reb Chaim Oizer write his tshuvas, he said he realized that that's just divrei shashuyat. I'm just entertaining myself by writing these tshuvas. Pachad. Like I saw, there's a 3-volume biography of the Vilna Gaon. Vilna Gaon was famous for not being involved in the tzibur. He sat literally in an ivory tower, and he learned. I'm sure he felt that was the most important thing to do. And every second he had a cheshbon of how long it took him to in the course of a year. He would talk about it in his al-chetz about how much time he spent tying his shoes when you're not allowed to be mahara but Talmud Torah. So he would get to do tshuva for those 7 minutes a year. Because the Harvard, I guess they didn't have like loafers at that time. It was unbelievable. But I read in the biography, which is Musmach, the Vilna Gaon, that at the same time, like if an almana would come to him and need something, close all the svarim and spend a day, 2 days, even a week to help her. That's a part of the Vilna Gaon we don't hear. So he protected his learning because the truth is he gave the whole, he's the one who gave us Torah. I mean, without him we wouldn't have the Torah that we have. We wouldn't have the right Gerson Gemara even, if not for the Vilna Gaon. We wouldn't know how to learn Shulchan Aruch, not for the Vilna Gaon. It's another shus. But Bechozos, as Reb Chaim said, that's nothing compared to what I have to do if there's an almana. And then he says here, it's in big bold print if you have the same thing as I do. And this is, Reb Itzele says, this is what he used to tell me all the time. Father telling the son. Shizek kol ha'adom loy la'atzmo nivra rak lahoil la'achrina kechol asher yimtzא bekachó לעשות. Who says you were created for yourself? The Western idea is, look, you got to watch out for number one. Well, who's number one? So his father used to tell him all the time, admonish him, and say, who said you were created for yourself? You're a machine that was created for others. Now, when I came to this bold print, I was very curious. What he's saying is a huge chiddush, that the purpose of the creation of a person, the reason we were created is to help others, as opposed to becoming great in avodas Hashem ourselves and becoming a Talmid Chacham. And so let's say I could learn and become a big Talmid Chacham, or I could learn with some kid and help him a little bit. What's the right thing to do? So all of a sudden these words come out. And almost every decision that you or I will make is why are we created? We're created for other people. There's no self-centeredness at all. So I'm just trying to think, what is it actually the source for this? What is the source? So you could do the same exercise I did. I just took some of these words, adom lo לעצמו נברא, and Googled it, and comes up hundreds of times as a quote from Reb Itzele. This is the source. I tried every different combination of words. Where does it say someplace in Chazal? I'm asking you, maybe I didn't. Where does it say someplace in Chazal that a person is created to help other people? In fact, it says in Chazal the opposite, because the Gemara says the famous case of kitod echad shel bayid, right? You're in the desert, you only have kitod echad shel bayid. You have one cup of water, right? Ben Petura said, divide the glass of water. There's only enough to hydrate one person. So Ben Petura says, which was the minhag of the world, apparently, from the Lashon of the Gemara, so split the water, and you both die. How could it be that I'm living and you're dying? Ad Shaba Rabbi Akiva v'Darash, until Rabbi Akiva came, that I think the pshat is, this is what they did. And it's normal to do that. Ad Shaba Rabbi Akiva v'Darash, chayacha koymen, b'chayach yichayimach, chayacha koymen, drink the water. Just drink the water. I think the Rambam says that you're allowed to give the water to the other person, but it's silly to divide it. The other person feel like he's more valuable to Zai, you give it to somebody else. But Chayecha Koidmim says the opposite of this. You're my kasha. Chayecha Koidmim says that I have to come for good. I have to do stuff. I have to do chesed. I have to do my mitzvos. I have to give my meiser. But Chayecha Koidmim says that I have to that I come first. I just
Moshe Rabbeinu was the example of that.
Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah. So I'll show you something Moshe Rabbeinu.
I think it's soter. It's not soter because if he dies, he can't give to others. His whole job is to give to others. He has to keep living.
Yeah, I hear that.
Isn't this the theme of Anava throughout?
Anava. Yeah. Like this is what Anava. I always think to myself as a rabbi that I heard the story from the person that this happened to, that he went to Rav Pinchas Olav Shalom. He wrote all those beautiful books. Rav Pinchas, and he told him that he doesn't know what to do because he doesn't have enough money, and his wife and another child, and they Pashut can't live in the dira that they're living in. Like they already were squeezing, and now he can't live in his dira any longer, and he doesn't have enough money to get a bigger dira. So he came to ask the Rav for an eitzah. So this person told me that, without thinking, spontaneously, he went into his pocket and he took the keys to his house. He says, "Take my dira, I'll live in yours because my kids are grown up." So the guy said, "No, that's not what I didn't mean to take the Rav's dira. I just came to ask an eitzah, He said, "No." He says, "Really?" He says, I don't. This is too big. Yours is too small. It only makes sense. Let's just switch diras." And they did. They did. It was like. So what about that? So he wrote a lot of beautiful svarim. He said a lot of beautiful Torahs, but who knows? Like in Olam Haba, it could be at that moment, and maybe another 100 stories like that. Is Kona has tachlis in the world. Like we don't know. But I was going to talk about Moshe Rabbeinu for a second, because this is a shtickle.
Maybe that was someone else's deal that he had already switched.
Maybe, do you have the lashon kol ha'adam
What are we talking about?
on your Gemara and your Nefesh HaChaim? Does it say kol ha'adam or just
Lo la'atzmo nברא. Yeah, lo v'chen v'koi hayu dvarei alai tamid shezek kol ha'adam. Yeah.
kol ha'adam?
What yours doesn't say?
No, that's
Lo la'atzmo nברא. Rak l'hoya l'achriני kechol asher yimtzא b'koichai l'asas.
Now you also had he had another sentence which I think yours didn't have. It said, "Vayar ragil ochiach oti al
Yeah, I have that also, just not in bold. V'hayarogel lo chiach osi al shara she'einen. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, I did skip that. That's the best one. Yeah, he would yell at me. Al shara she'eineni mishtatev b'tzara d'achriני. He writes here about himself. He says, my father would yell at me because I wasn't mishtatev. Like, why don't you feel somebody else's tsar? That was, imagine having a father like that. V'kai ha'yadvar like tamid. They should make a song out of this. It's like amazing, but it's a huge chiddush, which seems keneged Rabbi Akiva. It seems a little bit, but this idea here is the Medrash says famously that by Moshe Rabbeinu, by Yom Ahim Vayigdal Moshe, the Moshe Rabbeinu got a little older. Ben Esrim Shana Haya Moshe B'Osishai, when he became 20 in the palace of the Pharaoh, he was 20 years old. Vayigdal Moshe, Vayetze Alachav, and he went out amongst the people. Meaning he stopped, I guess he went outside before he was 20 years old, but he took a concern of what's going on with the people. Went out amongst the people. So it says here in the Medrash, Vayar b'sivlosam. Vayar b'sivlosam. Mahu vayar. Shahiro b'sivlosam ubocha v'omar chavali aleichem. Yiten musi aleichem. This is terrible what's going on here with the Jews. Yiten musi aleichem. I'm willing to give my life for them. She'en lecha malacha kashem imlechas atid. The whole, there's the hardest thing to do is to carry cement around. Vayanoising Seifav, and he would take his shoulders, this was the prince of Egypt here, Vayanoising Seifav, v'masayeh l'chol echad ve'echad mehen, and he would help everybody carry their burden. Rabbi Elazar b'noi Rabbi Yossi Aglila Omer Ra Masay Gadon al Katan Masay Katan al Gadol Masay Isha al Isha Masay Isha al Ish Masay Zaken al Bacher. He would see the whole thing was all wrong, and what he did was he did a political thing. The Medrash says he went back to the palace of the king and he says, "You're not getting your money's worth out of the Jews by enslaving them this way because you're giving them unnatural things. Let a child carry what's appropriate for him and a woman carry what's appropriate for her." And so that was the other thing that he did. He worked politically. Ki'ilu, he says here in the Mefarshim, it was good for, Ki'ilu was good for, he was, he used his political clout as if he was helping Paro, but the truth of the matter is his attention was for the Jews. So here's the thing. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Hashem said at this point, Ata hinachta asakecha v'halachta lirois b'tzarin shel Yisrael. You left your whole lifestyle and you went lirois b'tzarin shel Yisrael to see the tzar of Klal Yisrael. V'nahakt b'hem minhag achim, and you became a brother to them. So Hashem says, Ani maniach es ha'elyonim v'es ha'tachtonim v'adaber imoch. He says, I'm going to get down from my kisei hakavod. I'm going to be maniach es ha'elyonim v'es ha'tachtonim v'adaber imcha, and I'm going to speak to you. And then, when did he speak to him? Vayar Hashem kisar liros. That's by the sneh. So by the sneh was also the same thing. Ra Kadosh Baruch Hu Moshe shesar me'asakav liros b'siv loisam. Now since HaKadosh Baruch Hu was left, since HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw that Moshe Rabbeinu was left his own needs. Now this was two ways. He ran after the calf, and also like his whole gestell. Apparently he was already 80. This went from 20 to 80. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu was shomer this thing that here's a man that put his royalty aside to be able to carry the masui of the Jewish people. Very simple. So he said, you're the leader. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu went from the highest place to the snow, which is the lowest bush. Vayikra Elov Elokim mitoich hasneh. So Hashem called out from him, mitoich hasneh. It was all. So we see this idea of the whole reason that Moshe Rabbeinu became the biggest Navi in the history of the world is not only because he was, per se, the Anav Mikol Adam, although maybe that's what this was. It's not because he was, all the milos of Nevuah. I mean, you have to be a huge scholar, and you have to be Mamayitis, Basara, and you like all the different, big in Chachma, all the different things you have to do to be a Navi, certainly the Navi HaNaviim. So, but he that's not why he was Zocha to be Moshe Rabbeinu. It was because he went out Vayar B'Siv Loisam. So that Vayar B'Siv Loisam that you have in the beginning of Shmos, that he saw the burden and he helped carry that burden, as Reb Chaim Elozhin said to his son, that to be Meshatev Atzmei B'Tzarin to Yisrael, that was his gadlus. It wasn't his brain, and it wasn't his holiness per se. It was his ability to put the Jew, like he didn't have to do this. He didn't have to get his hands dirty.
Subjugated himself.
Yeah, according to one opinion, literally helped them carry. He shouldered the burden with them, literally. Both. He shouldered the burden, and then he used his political clout to be able to help them. But that's the idea. He had to have asked himself, like, what's more important, my covet or the covet of Hashem and the covet of Klal Yisrael? Like, this is just wrong. So when you see something which is wrong, are you willing to get your hands dirty and do it? It's a big avoda, It's not such a big avoda until it disturbs your comfort. Like, in other words, we all have our comfort level. But the idea is, I'll tell you just a quick story. Reb Shlomo Miller, Shlit'a, he's a Rav in Toronto, one of the Gedolim. Reb Shlomo Miller, big, huge Talmud Chacham. So he told me once that he went to see Mr. Moshe Reichman, Paul Reichman, in the Olympia York building. So Olympia York is big, yeah. So I've been there, David, you've been there, yeah. So it's Reichman was very well known for being very meduik. He came on time, started on time, ended on time. There wasn't a lot of, but he was waiting. Usually for like a big Rosh Hashiva, so he was waiting. So when he came in, Mr. Reichman, all of us all, he said to him, he apologized to him. So he said that downstairs on the first floor, like in the lobby of the building, there's like a lot of stores and things. It's like a shtickle mall. So the downstairs of the building. So there's also amongst them, there's a guy, a black guy who's a shoe shine. He shines shoes. And that's what he does. He's a shoe shiner. And apparently the property manager, realized that the shoe shine stand is in a place that he can get a lot more money for that particular, renting out that particular space. So he told the shoe shine guy that he has to move, I remember this, like 5 meters, like to the side, around the corner. So, you shine your shoes here instead of shining your shoes there, because you can rent out the space for a lot more money. So the shoe shine guy sent a letter up to Reichman, who owns the whole thing. There's got to be, there took it at that time hundreds of people between this guy and this guy, right? So he said of that Lamaisa, his whole, like this 5 meters, his whole parnasa is dependent on, because the way he's situated right now, everybody has to walk right by him, which is why it's valuable property. Like this, they have to go like a little bit out of the way. He's going to lose, hundreds of dollars a week by this guy, by moving these 5 meters. And he's sure that nobody means him any harm, but that's the fact, and can he do something about it? So Reichman told Rav Shlomo Miller, he says, I was just busy, I just went down to the guy to assure him that I'll take care of it and everything will be fine and you won't have to move and you won't lose a penny. Like there's 100 middle managers, right? So you think like Moshe Rabbeinu, like he was the prince. 100 middle managers like sent some guys in there to help him carry the cement, But he went and he did it. So that's the clause. So here he has, if you see footnote 7, let's take a look at this for a minute. Well, let's go a little further, I'm sorry. V'dan, on page top of 23, V'dan v'hayra oyev shalom v'roidev shalom oyev v'sabrias v'karvam l'tayra. V'dan v'hara, he was a rav and a posek, oyev shalom v'roidev shalom oyev v'sabrias v'karvam l'tayra. This is a quote from the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, which while we're here, I just want to emphasize that the Mishnah says Hillel, that having a Talmid of Shel Aaron, should be a Talmud of Aaron, you should be an Aaronian. What's that? Oyev Shalom, Roidev Shalom, Oyev Habriyos, Umekarvan L'Torah. So the Mefarshim all explain, almost all of them, from the Bartanura on Rashi, the Rambam, Pirush Mishras, the Rambam, that he wasn't saying different things. This was a derech, that by being Oev Shalom and Rodev Shalom and Oev Sabriyas, automatically you're Makarvan L'Torah. In other words, and do Kiruv. And, show them the codes or debate with them, or, that's how he's saying, that by having Av, that's how what Hillel was saying. Simply by having Ava for every single person, you're Makarv them L'Torah. So Oyev Shalom, Roidev, this is the Aaron derech. Oyev Shalom, Roidev Shalom, Oyev Sabriyas, Umakarvan L'Torah. They're medayik in the fact, I think that's the first the first vav. Umakarvan L'Torah, and through that you'll be Makarv them L'Torah. So it's an important lesson. So he says here in the footnotes, Ukigavna Shurgalna, and I'm not finished with that question of how what's his makar to go. L'chara, it seems to be not Rabbi Akiva. Chayecha koidman. See, and it is a big question, because do I put, if this is all of a sudden everything has to change if I'm supposed to put my life second. If I have to do something for my health, I need to take a walk or do something, but I have to give it up to help another person. Am I supposed to give up my life to help another person? So right. So in yeshivas they say, I don't know if this is true or not, I'm just saying this is what they say in yeshivas. In yeshivas they say don't if somebody comes to learn with you, somebody wants to learn with you b'chavrusa, but you can learn better with another guy, so say no, because chayecha koyim. That's like yeshiva shirim. I don't know if it's true. Maybe if that would be true, there would never be a Rosh Yeshiva, would there? Every Rosh Yeshiva could learn better by himself or with his chavros, instead he's learning with a bunch of bachrim.
Could be chayach, in that case, chayach HaChaim, it says you should be ma'ayit and learn with the person on the lower level. Maybe better for you.
So you're saying that's what Yaakov was saying. In other words, that's gufa chayecha.
Yeah.
That's
That
gufa
might-
chayecha.
That might be. I mean, they got it completely upside down.
Talmida, you say, Mikulam.
Completely upside down. Better for you to learn what the guy knows.
Yeah, that's actually not what you're saying. You're saying the opposite way. You're saying that if I take care of myself, like it's a big musser thing by me every time I get on a plane where they say, like, if the oxygen thing drops, first take it to yourself and then give it to your child so you could better help your child. So I look and say, who thought of that, love, this year? like, is there anybody in this room that if there was a lack of oxygen in a plane, they would put on themselves before their child? But the logic, I can't imagine anybody would do it, even if we would. Our wives certainly wouldn't do that yet. But logic dictates that they're correct. Or they thought about this. No, take the oxygen, then put it on yourself, and then give it to your child so you can better help your child. Chayecha.
It enables you to help them.
Right. So that's the chayecha koidmim. So I think what Rabbi Yaakov was saying, that if you don't do that, then how are you going to help your child? Then you become like Ben Peturi. What did you gain? Everybody's going to die. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm not going to be there and my child's not going to be there, so what's the point? So it's tricky. I'm just saying it's tricky. But then you get into another thing. Let's just start this and then we'll talk about it. Kigavna shirgalnu lahatziya, similar, kigavna means similar. Shirgalnu lahatziya tefillah Shlomo HaMelech. In Malach Aleph, where Shlomo HaMelech was building the Beis HaMikdash, he said in his tefillah, Ki ha'umnam yeshev elikim al ha'oretz. Is it really true that if I build a Beis HaMikdash, is it really true that you will come and dwell amongst us on this earth? Is it really true? It's pretty cool, but is it really true? If I build this building here, Klal Yisrael builds this building called the Beis HaMikdash in Yerushalayim, that you, Hashem, are going to come and dwell in this business. Ha'umnam kein. Ha'umnam yeshev elikim al ha'aretz shetimsa yadcha ligmol kol hachasadim tovim. That you should asher timsa yadcha ligmol kol hachasadim tovim asher yechti ish l'reyehu. Your tasa chesed b'gvur lahatzel ashik miyad oishkai. Are you going? And what the tefillah means is, are you going to, Hashem, actually come down into this world? And if two simple people are having a fight, and the Oshek grabs something, Bigvura miyad oishkav. I grab something away from you. Called the Olim Govar. I'm stronger than you, I grabbed it away. Are you really going to get involved in that? Do teachers even get involved with that? Like, okay, let them fight it out. Like, are you actually, in other words, when he was asking if I build the Beis HaMikdash and I bring the Shechina b'tachtainim, does that mean that you're going to get involved? Asher yechti ish l'reyehu tasa chesed b'gvura lahatzel ashik b'yad oishkai. Ish asher yasik gvur reyehu. If somebody unfairly competes with another person, right? I open my makola too close to your makola. Tishiveyu al admasai. Ki yitzmu l'mayim and nasata l'amater. When people are a little bit thirsty, you're going to make it rain. Are you really going to get involved in that work? So this is like I'm saying, go down to the main floor and talk to the shoe shine guy, and just make sure he's okay. Is that, so there's an understanding here of building a Beis HaMikdash. I don't know how we understand it, but the way he understood it is that what we're saying, what his pella, omnam means it's a pella to the omnam, that's what the word means. Omnam kain, is this really so that I'm going to build a building and you're going to be so involved in this world? So what's the kasha? You created the world, Hashem. Of course he's going to get involved with the world. Why else would he create it? But okay, there's middle managers. You can have malachim. You could have, what we're saying with the Beis HaMikdash is, lo yal yedei shaliach, lo yal yedei malach. You're really going to get involved with all of this all by yourself to make it rain? Lo nimseru l'shliach. You're going to make sure that the Oshek and the Oshka, that there's fairness in this world. That was the kasha and the tefillah of Shlomo HaMelech. V'nasata lechem l'ksirayu mireya tala arucha l'chol nega levav tachbois l'tzveisav. You're going to get involved with the depressed person, with the hurt human being, and you're going to get involved in comforting him. See, this is pretty serious stuff, because in other words, we stand and we daven to Hashem. And we're talking about my heart hurts, my foot hurts, is there actually an expectation that this, however you want to look at HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the creator, the energy which is making everything happen, the however you want to look at it theologically, that he's going to be involved in my heartache, like how it's really, when you think about it, very difficult to conceive of. But this is what Shlomo Melech's Pella Omnam Kain. Can it actually be such a thing? And the answer is, this is the way, this is the promise of Hashem. If you believe as a Jew, then yes, that's the way it is. See, let me end off with this question. HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out of Mitzrayim. So how come? I mean, I know why he took us out of Mitzrayim, but why lo al yidei shaliach and lo al yidei malach and lo al yidei saraf? Like, what's the problem? Like, why does the emancipation have to take place through HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself? But what's the svar here? What if there's malachim to do other stuff, like there's a malach refuah, so why can't malachim are just HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mechanism of doing things? I don't know, malachim are not fluttering around. Malachim are the different kochos in the bria. That's what malachim are. So if there's kochos in the bria, I guess it would have been more al piteva. To that somehow we would have gotten out of Egypt, we would have broken out, or would have something. So, but why was it important that HaKadosh Baruch Hu do this himself? Why was this even important that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did this?
Be an example to us.
Maybe. So I saw it in Reb Itzele. I just want to read you this Reb Itzele. I saw this a while ago. And he says, Yitzienu Hashem b'Mitzrayim lo ya yidei malach v'lo ya yidei saraf v'lo ya yidei shaliach el HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvoidoi v'atzmai shenemar. This is the Haggadah Naruto. V'avarti b'Eretz Mitzrayim b'laylo hazeh v'kesi kol b'char b'Eretz Mitzrayim mi'odam v'at behema v'chol elikei Mitzrayim as hashvatim ani Hashem. V'avarti b'Eretz Mitzrayim b'laylo hazeh ani v'lay malach v'kesi kol b'char b'Eretz Mitzrayim ani v'lay saraf. In other words, the saraf could have been done the Maisa Hakah. A malach could have done the Maisa Havar. Uchol elihei Mitzrayim es hashvatim ani Hashem v'lo shaliach ani hu v'lo yacher. So from the Haggadah it's mashma that we would not have been as clear in the Achdus Hashem if Hashem would have used any shaliach here. Ani hu v'lo yacher. That's the mashmois of the Haggadah. The way I understand it is that nobody should be confused that and then end up being over Avodah Zarah. The sun helped us, let's worship the sun. Malach helped us, let's worship that Malach. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu did it himself, and that's what's emphasized. There's a tzaddik, and he says, Avarti b'Eretz Mitzrayim ani v'lo malach ki Mitzrayim. You see, by the way, even as you know, Moshe Rabbeinu's name is not mentioned in the Haggadah because there can't be any chash shlichus at all. Even Moshe Rabbeinu, who did the whole thing, he's not mentioned in the Haggadah. So it's all about God, all about Hashem. So says Reb Tzadok, that the pshat, a little bit different twist. Mitzrayim malei tinoifas avodah zarah. Mitzrayim was full of filth of avodah zarah. V'afshar likedushas hamalachim likanes l'sham. Malachim couldn't go in there; they would disintegrate on the spot. It's like a Hasidic kid going to Times Square. It blows the circuit. Like it's not. What are you doing on Dizengoff? Like it doesn't work. My malachim can't exist in Mitzrayim in this Memtesh Shari Tumah. Malachim are programmed and conditioned for holy situations. They're not for cleanliness, for Nikias. That to go into Mitzrayim, which was Malay Zimon, Avodah Zarah, and Znus. What are we going to put malachim there? So Mitzrayim, this is a quote, by the way, from the Arizal. Mitzrayim malei tinoifas avodah zarah v'efshar l'kedushas hamalachim likanes l'sham v'chein b'beis hakisei. Even in a beis hakisei, oimrim hischabdu mechubadim kedoshim. It says in Shulchan Aruch, you say to the malachim, we don't do this because we're not on the madrega, but in Shulchan Aruch it says that you say to the malachim as you walk into the beis hakisei, please wait for me here. Ki malachim yitzav alach lishmarcha. So beis hakisei, even malachim can't even go into beis hakisei, but makesher beis hakisei to malachim. Ki l'kdoshim einam yicholim l'kadosh l'makom tzinoifis. Ma she'ein kein Hashem yisbarach atzmo, but this is not true of God. Shamar b'shir yichud kol tinoifis lo titanefcha. He can go into the makom ha-tinoifis. Hashem Himself can go into the makom ha-tinoifis. She'ein shum tumah chaytzetzes b'fnei kedushas yisbarach. So the Malachim can't go into Mitzrayim. So why does it have to be that there would have been no Eitzah? Who's going to go into that filthy place and save you people? It's full of zima. It's full of disease. It's full of who's going to go in there and save the people? It's like going into it's like an ambulance, like a Hatzalah guy going into a place where everybody's shooting, or into a mine, a coal mine which is falling down or full of gas. Or who's going to do this? So no human being can do this. So it had to be HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ani v'loi malach, ani v'loi shaliach, but here comes Reb Itzele of Mivolozhin, he says, and this is the pshat in Shlomo HaMelech, saying, so you're really saying to Hashem, so you're really Amnam, that's a great lashon, Amnam. Are you really willing to get involved? Are you really going to keep your promise and get involved on this level, which was the level of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's involvement in the world in Gan Eden Kodem Achet? But the Moshe Haskell is not about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's about us. Because the only way, it's just to end with this thought here, that it's like every avodah has its form of avodah, like Havdil el Havdos, avodah zarah. So there's all kinds of different avodas in terms of Torahs and Hishtach avodah. There's the derech avodah of each avodah. The Havdil of Havdos, the avodah, the derech avodah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ramchal says, what's the real derech avodah? So you bring karbonos, you daven, but the real avodah of Hashem is to be mistabek b'midosav, is to be like Him. There's no other avodah zarah like that. There's no other avodah like that. So the avodah amitis of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is, I want you to be just like me. Not just you should do Ma'aseh Rachman, it's Atatiyah Rachum. You have to be a Rachum like I'm a Rachum. You have to be a Chanun like I'm a Chanun. So that's we explained in the Talmud Dvar. That's the taich of being B'Tselem Elokim. I'm mamish like B'Tselem Elokim. So the Nakuta here is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not disturbed by going into the lowliest places. And we can't be disturbed to say, well, lo matim li. This is so okay, Rabbosai, like, I don't know about your lives, or my lives, probably your lives also, like, there's so many things, that lo matim li, like, just lo matim li, like, I don't have to do, like, isn't there somebody else who can do that? Isn't there some other, middle manager that can do that? There's really no such thing. I'm not saying we should be, not do time management properly. I'm talking about, like, in terms of kochas and nefesh, and emotionally, there's no such thing as lo matim li. Lo matim li. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is oizer dalin, moitzi asirim, voida anovim. He's taking care of the shivron halev. We have a gadol adar like Reb Chaim Volozhin, who's he's going to explain. Who would give shiurim on an aleph base level. The Gaon Adar giving shiurim on an aleph base level, because that's what the people in the shul that he davened in needs. You have Reb Chaim Oizer who could write 2 tshuvas at one time. And he's saying, but this is all a lot of fun. But like the ikar is that almana needs some help. So that there's other people get the gabbai to help the almana. What does he have to help the almana? But he realized that's the ikar. The ikar. That's really the ikar. And this is a koyha yadvarai like tamid. Is that kol ha'adam? It's the whole thing. Kol ha'adam. It's like the whole thing. Everything else is she puts him, like this is the whole thing. Lo la'atzmo nivra. Lo la'atzmo nivra. We're chesed machines.
Is this
Your life begins at the end of your comfort zone.
That's where it starts. Yeah.
Is this a new way to understand the very beginning of our avodah starts from nidva slave? So you didn't understand maybe nidva slave? The place from which I have to give over is.
You mean like kisisa? You mean that?
Yeah, to give over my lave, my very rutzon.
Yeah, that's what we want from him.
It's the nidva slave, but that's the whole avodah starts from there.
Yeah, and that's what a carbon is.
Right.
That's what tefillah is. That's what Torah is. That's what chesed
We have
is.
to extend that to beyond just the.
But it is, again, it's not even like this. It's zeh kol ha'adam. Like I'm not really here for myself. If it was a person who would be in isolation, there would be no purpose for that person. Like what's the purpose? If a person isolates themselves to grow in ruchnius, it's like you're a yorish gehenna.
Right.
You're not doing anything, because according to this anyways, it's kizek kol ha'adam lo la'atzmo nברא. Now maybe there were some people created like that, but that's usually malachim. That's not people. Malachim were created to do certain jobs, sometimes maybe to be isolated, maybe, I don't know much about it, but people, like the whole purpose of being it'd be like hiring somebody in your company and he doesn't actually do anything. He just sits in his room and grows. Like there's no point to it. Like yes, grow, but grow for the company, grow for people, get out there. What's the point of